Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being first, Peach Rose. and let's see here. We'll get our slides up and get going. Okay. Okay. Yes, that's it. All right. Slides are coming up. Anyway, hello to everyone else. I'll just say hi as I go along. I I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. How's that? I don't think so. We'll see how it goes. Oh, you guys, I have just tumbled into the world of conspiracy theories. I love it. I don't believe everything I see, of course, but I always think it's fun to just see how people try to put a round peg into a square hole or vice versa. You know what I mean? The mental gymnastics of it all. I always find that interesting. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. So, all about Meghan. Of course it is. Um I like that background. I love that. It's so groovy. Yeah, it's so groovy. Anyway, those kids, Harry and Meghan looking not just because of their age, but no, they're not exactly old, but they're not exactly young either. But they're so youthful. Their spirit is so youthful. Um, there's just like a light that comes from them. Yeah, they have a certain glow, a light that kind of rises up from them. But yeah, that's the only way I could describe it. They have a certain light, their spirit. There's something about them that just kind of pulls you to them. That's why I get so frustrated when I hear people saying, "Oh, well, Harry has to come over here because his connection to the royal family is the only thing that makes him relevant." But how popular would Charles be if he was not born into that clan, that family? Why do I keep saying clan? How popular would William be if he was not born into that institution? Harry is demonstrating that you can take him away from the institution, take away the the courtiers, leave him with his inheritance, which of course we all know that money has been set aside for the children. They're not even spending that inherited wealth. That money was set aside for the children. It's one thing for someone to open a door for you, but how many people got enough sense to walk through it? How many people have enough sense to take advantage of the opportunities that have been presented? The sad truth is, a lot of people kind of miss out on things, but they landed on their feet, right? And they have been making it work ever since. So enters Ted Sarandos. Um, did you guys know that he was married? In 2009, Sarandos married former United States ambassador to the Bahamas, Nicole Avant, the daughter of the former Motown chairman, Clarence Avant. And the couple lived in the Hancock Park neighborhood in Los Angeles after previously living in Avant's home town of Beverly Hills, California. So, um, yeah, that's his wife there. What am I trying to say? I think he understands what the Sussexes are up against, but don't be fooled by that. Nothing is being given away. Harry and Meghan were highly sought after um, when they left the firm. And of course, there were lots of interest, lots of chatter. They decided to go with Netflix. I don't know what helped them make their minds up or how they came to the conclusion Netflix is the place to be. But that's where they ended up. Um, so again, I I guess you can say they understand. They not an uncommon thing in California. I always tell the story that the first time I went to California, I was a kid. I had never seen so many interracial couples in my life. And it just seemed like, how do I put it? I was a bit confused. And because I had never seen that many people, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone who wasn't on television. I was just like looking around because I just thought somebody would be upset or confront them or something like that. You know, nothing happened because it was so typical. And we're talking about the 1970s California, right? And fast forward to today, and all over um, various media or even any type of work, you'll find couples like, I'll give you a good example. When Roxy Roker, when she auditioned for the Jeffersons, they asked her, they said, how would you feel about having an interracial relationship, a white husband? She pulled out her wallet. You mean like this? And of course, we're speaking of what's his name? Lenny Kravitz's mother? Yeah. Um, and then of course, I bet you most of y'all did not know this, but remember the doorman, the guy who played the doorman in the Jeffersons? He's he was married to an African American woman. Just by chance. See what I'm saying there? Uh, a show that featured an interracial couple. As far as I know, I think they were the first regular cast members of any show that featured an interracial couple. I think they were the first. And all these years later, I didn't think it was such a big deal when I was a kid, but now I get it. So I guess I'm just trying to say, I think they understand. They know what the Sussexes are up against. Although most people will never have as much vitriol from the tabloid media, it happens. Let's see. So was Helen in the Jeffersons Lenny Kravitz's mother? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's right. Lenny Kravitz's mother, Roxy Roker, who is, I believe, a cousin of Al Roker, the weatherman. She played Helen Willis. That is Lenny Kravitz's mother. She played on the Jeffersons. And Lenny Kravitz's father is Jewish. And Minnie Riperton, she was married. She had a Jewish husband. So, of course, Maya Rudolph, um, her father is Jewish and her mother was black. Um, so, yeah, that's That was like a big thing when I was a kid. You just did not see that much of it in Chicago. But nowadays, of course, it's like very blasé. Nobody really cares. So let's see. Let's go on here. And here's a couple more photos of them I just threw in there for the heck of it. But they are very happily married. And this is her parents. This is his Ted Sarandos' mother and father-in-law. Why the 6888 is dedicated to the late Clarence and Jacqueline Avant. So 6888 was actually dedicated to his uh, um, uh, mother and father-in-law. Yeah, his in-laws. Yeah, I guess I was trying to figure out how to say that. Anyway, I put the horse. Actually, I put the cart before the horse. Oh, one more. Then, of course, there is the Robins. There's the Robins, Brian and Tracy, neighbors of the Sussexes. You see what I'm saying? They are in a good place. I just can't help but think this was destiny for the Sussexes. This was their destiny as a married couple to end up exactly where they are. Because it just seems like there's a lot of support, a lot of people in their circle of friends who knows exactly the experience that they've gone through. It may seem like a small thing to people who are not affected by it, but just like Alex Beresford, the weather guy from Good Morning Britain, he said he was rather taken back when someone asked him, "So, what shade of cocoa do you think your son will be?" Now, and I've seen so many people say, of course, people that are trying to defend the royal family, they'll say, "Oh, I didn't mind. Oh, that was a common question in my family." It's going to land differently for some people. It may, just like my revulsion when I hear the N word, I wince. I mean, I just really wince when I hear the N word. And for some people, they use it like they're telling the time of day. And not all of them black either. But it's jarring to me. It is. And it's as I get older, I it actually gets worse for me. It's not easier, it's worse. I don't care what context it's in. When I hear it, I just get that kind of punch in the stomach. Is the only way I can describe it. So there's just certain things that you have people on television and media trying to explain it away, trying to minimize it, make it seem like it's not such a big deal. And, oh, this person isn't like that. Just like the person who was recently assassinated. I have been watching so many clips where he said this way, and then someone will gaslight you and say, that's not what he meant. And I could see the qualities of him that is appealing to a lot of people. But then also, I can see someone who has an agenda, someone who is trying to preserve the United States for a certain group that does not include me and may not include a lot of you. But that is the whole point of his rise to success, is to preserve the United States for a certain type of person, a certain group of people. And when someone gaslights me about what I am seeing and hearing, and they say, "Oh no, that's not what they meant," that is what we refer to as a dog whistle. It's a dog whistle. Only certain people can hear it. So do remember that. If you ever feel as though you cannot understand why someone has taken offense. Just earlier today, and I have not looked into this, I'm only going by what this person said on social media. But earlier today, they said that a couple of young men uh, down south, I forget whether it was Alabama, Mississippi, whichever state, were found unalive. And, you know, and they were found near trees. I even hate to say it, but they were found unalived by trees, attached to a tree. There you go, attached to trees. And that is why the N word is so jarring to me, because of what it means to certain people. Yeah. So that's something that is still going on. Sadly, that is something still going on. Ida B. Wells campaigned vigorously for anti-lynching laws, but it looks like it's making a comeback. It's making a comeback. And if there's anything we can take from what happened this last week, is that words do matter. And as Jeremy Vine spoke so eloquently about the idea that someone could be radicalized to come after him because of someone who had it in for him. I am still waiting for him to speak up for Meghan. I am still waiting for him to speak up for Meghan. If anybody should understand, it should be him. Even though he's a white man and in a very good position with a television show and everything like that, that did not save him from being stalked on the internet. And he felt threatened. He thought someone would come after him. Well, why not speak up for Meghan? Why not speak up for Meghan? Surely you can identify what she's going through. But instead, he does what he can do so well, and that is to play dumb, to play like he just don't get it. He don't understand. Please explain it to me. If what he says is true, I think he knows. Let's see. Oh, it was in both states. Ouch. Ooh. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's so terrible. Yeah. Well, thanks for letting me know that, because I did not know all the details, but and it's not getting much play in the media. It's not much play in the media. Wow. That's crazy. Church Nelly, what are you doing up at these hours? I cannot believe it. Oh, I forgot. Somebody's got to go and tend to the steel. Hello, Hazel Jones, Tara Wilson, Carol Lund, Joan Garcia, Sonia Johnson, Compton Caligal, Adrian Burrow, thank you very much. Get those thumbs up. Joy Amore and Minu, welcome. Thank you. Maurice Brown, thank you for being here. All right, so let's get to the meat of it. Watching Emma Greedy podcast episode with Ted Sarandos of Netflix, and she asked him about Meghan's business as ever, and Netflix, along with the consumer business for Netflix. Shout out to Ted for always shouting out Meghan and Harry. So yes, this is what I saw earlier today. And okay, there we go. We're going to listen to it and then we'll talk on the other side. How's that? Is that okay? I'm sure it is. And oh, there we go. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Remember that old public service commercial? It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Well, it is 10 o'clock, at least in the central time zone. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? How creepy is that? They better get in this house when them street lights come on. Okay, here we go.
As ever brand. I had Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, on this podcast, and she spoke a lot about the type of partnership that you've done with her, which is like outside of the show, the As Ever brand. So is that the type of, I'm just trying to think about the mix and the various different parts of the business. Is that more of the direction that you'll go in that will set you apart from the other platforms?
Yeah, look, I think what we have is cultural relevance. YouTube does too. But I would say that we have cultural relevance in a way that most outlets do not. That when you go to a dinner party and someone says, "Oh my God, did you see?" The chances are they have Netflix and they can go home and push play and watch it.
Yeah,
that's a very big thing. And in fact, I think one thing we learned early with Meghan, she has remarkable influence. Remarkable. So when we did the documentary on her and Harry, the trailer, when we ran the trailer announcing it, hundreds of people broke down every frame of the trailer. And
we note it. We're seeing this on a micro level right now.
and the $20 shoes that she got from a village that was making these shoes sold out all over the world. And the $1,500 blanket that was on the chair sold out all over the world.
Power. That's some influence.
Incredible power and influence you can put. And I think that for me, it's like, okay, well, how can we enable this to be a more holistic thing?
Yes.
So that's what that relationship.
But I mean, the consumer products business is a very different thing, right? For you guys to go from having the data and understanding that a trailer with those two can do those type of numbers and then have the commercial impact to actually starting a brand, a physical
and by the way, and the documentary itself was also one of the most watched documentaries we've ever had. Wow. So it was successful by every measure. Now, I don't think that you can have a consumer business if you don't have a consumer products business, if you don't have a great entertainment business. So that's got to come first.
It's got to come first.
It's one funny thing. I don't think much about legacy.
You don't?
No, for sure not.
For the company and for yourself, or just for yourself?
For sure.
Yeah. I had Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, on this podcast, and she spoke a lot.
Okay, so that just did a loop around. I love that guy. I love how clearly he explains his support for the Sussexes, for Meghan in particular. I love that. And I love that guy. He just says it like it is. This is what we're doing. Okay? And if there's anyone who doubts why the Sussexes have been brought into the Netflix family, this is why. That traffic that was brought to Netflix because of a promo video, do you know the value of that in terms of advertisement? Some time ago when Oprah gave away automobiles, right? Oprah gave away the Pontiac something 6 V6, I forget the name of it, but she gave away cars, and the amount of money, I think it was maybe $5 million worth of automobiles for an audience of about 250 people. If they were to have a campaign of advertising for that particular car, they could have spent double that and would not have received as much attention as they received because of how big that moment was on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I mean, I can still hear those people screaming with excitement for those cars. So not everything is about the obvious. It is the other stuff that happens along the way that is equally, if not more important, to the bottom line. Period. And only the disingenuous tabloid media will sit there and pretend otherwise, like they just don't get it. They make so much money in telling people what Harry is thinking, what Meghan is thinking, how sad Harry looks, how detached and unaware Meghan is, how they have burned all their bridges. There's no way back now. Will they or won't they? Will they or won't they? There's lots of will they or won't they. So you can pick and choose with that one. They make a lot of money from that. And yet you see someone like Ted Sarandos given his full support with no regrets. And still they will tell you that any day now, Netflix is going to drop them. And even though we found out that the first look contract that they have is an industry standard these days, every studio has moved away from the old way and they are doing this now, which people feel is mutually beneficial for both the company and for the producers. And still, you're going to have people that are going to scream out doubts and try to explain to you how this is going to be so devastating to the Sussexes. In other words, they don't know a good thing when they see it. But it's industry standard. And I think that for those people that are producers, you don't have to settle with no. You can take that no to someone else and possibly get the yes that you're looking for, but you still have your relationship with the studio. In this instance, Netflix. You still have that relationship. You still have that connection. You still have a contract of sorts with them. So whatever the contract says, you still have that. So I was glad. Now let me see, because I want to make sure that this other one that I saved, I want to make sure that I'm not. Okay, this may just be a shorter version of that, but let's check it out.
In fact, I think one thing we learned earlier with Meghan, she has remarkable influence. Remarkable. So when we did the documentary on her and Harry, the trailer, when we ran the trailer announcing it, people, hundreds of people broke down every frame of the trailer. And
we note it. We're seeing this on a micro level right now.
and the $20 shoes that she got from a village that was making these shoes sold out all over the world. And the $1,500 blanket that was on the chair sold out all over the world.
Power. That's some influence.
Incredible power and influence. You could put, and I think that, so that for me, it's like, okay, well, how can we enable this to be a more holistic thing?
Yes.
So that's what that relationship.
But I mean, the consumer products business is a very different thing, right?
Yeah.
For you guys to go from having the data and understanding that a trailer with those two can do those type of numbers and then have the commercial impact to actually starting a brand, a physical
and by the way, and the documentary
product
itself was also one of the most watched documentaries we've ever had.
Wow.
So it was successful by every measure. Now, I don't think that you can have a consumer business if you don't have a consumer products business, if you don't have a great entertainment business. So that's got to come first.
It's got to come first.
It's one funny thing. I don't think much about legacy.
You don't?
No, for sure not.
For the company and for yourself, or just for yourself?
For sure.
Yeah.
In fact, I think one thing we learned earlier
Okay. So there you go. Was that Jeannie Bond or was that Ingrid Seaweed? I thought that was Ingrid Seaweed or whatever her name is. I thought it was Jeannie Bond, but then yeah, you know what? I listened to that. I really wasn't paying such close attention. I was multitasking, but I thought that was that Ingrid person, the one that looks like Droopy the dog or Deputy Dog. I thought that was her, not. And who knows? Maybe they both did. But yeah, if anyone else saw that, oh, it was Bond. Okay, okay. You know, I heard the voice, and I'm just like, oh, I was disappointed. But then when I looked at the thing, I thought it was the other person. But um, you know, I think some of the royalists. Oh well, you know what? Let me wrap this up. Let me make sure I'm done with this. Okay, yes, I am. I'll just leave that on the screen. Some of the royalists that I've seen, well, the royalists slash um, royal rota, royal experts, all of those people. I feel as though some of them have been tasked with trying to send a message to the institution to lighten up, right? Especially Jeannie Bond. She has been on this quest, if you will, to try to get the institution to lighten up and to be more sensible. But why they have a problem with Harry saying, I have no regrets, that is as honest as you can get. Harry says, I have no regrets about the book, which makes sense. The book is done. The book is the number one best-selling nonfiction. And nothing they say is going to change that. And they could write a book tomorrow, and it's not going to in any way compete with Spare. Spare, you could almost put it in a self-help section of the bookstore because of the way it speaks to anyone who found themselves young and vulnerable and in sudden grief at the loss of a parent. And I got some news for you. Even for someone who lost their parents at an older age, it appeals to that sense of loss and grief. There was something in that book for everyone. Anyone who has ever felt vulnerable as a child in any way, anyone who has ever felt as though you have absolutely no control over your life as a young person, that book will speak to you. And you just cannot take that away from Spare. And the fact that someone feels slighted or at all inconvenienced or troubled by the remark, I have no regrets. I would rather Harry is honest enough to say I have no regrets than to pretend as though he's walking around with his head down and groveling for um their forgiveness. And you know what? I do not want Charles to ask for forgiveness. I don't want anyone to ask for forgiveness. I want people to move on. Move on. That's it. Because what's done is done. You cannot take it back. You cannot relive it. You cannot change the outcome. It's over. Move on. Everyone just accept that that was in the past and keep moving forward. because I do not believe an apology from that institution would in any way be genuine. Not from Charles, not from William, Camilla, and even that lazy one, Kate Middleton. They wouldn't be genuine, and they're too ornery to do it anyway. They're not going to ever seek an apology, and they're not going to apologize themselves. I do not want Harry to apologize to those people. They were cruel. They were so insensitive. They were vicious. They were not just cruel, they were vicious. And they caused a great deal of harm. There's nothing that they can say that will undo the loss of an unborn child. And just as they are trying to claim that, oh, Harry is the cause of Charles' illness, Harry and Meghan is the cause of Kate's illness. I've heard people say that. And then, of course, to accuse Harry of elder abuse of a woman who took over the maternal duties of his mother after his mother passed away. Harry's love for his grandmother was complete, whole and complete, and unflinching support for his grandmother. And yet, I could not imagine looking at a written article with my name accusing me of abusing my grandmother. I don't think anyone could take that. But those people that accused the Sussexes of elder abuse, that's what it was. They accused them of elder abuse. Those same people wonder why Meghan's not coming back over here. Why Harry doesn't like to talk to the press. How come we can't see the children? Yes, we know that an unborn child has been lost, but that shouldn't bother him. After all, he's still a royal. Royals don't have feelings, especially those that have moved to California. He doesn't owe them any apology, and I hope he never, ever, I hope I never hear about an apology. Matter of fact, I bet not hear about an apology. Those people are terrible. Charles is ignorant and indecisive. Camilla is a scheming backstabber. Kate, also scheming. William, moody, brooding, secretive, and always in search of a good pulled pork sandwich. That's his issue. His love of the pulled pork sandwich is going to be his undoing. The fact that this man has gone all the way to Poland and walked into a bistro that supposedly he had never been in before in his life and had a photographic memory of the menu and used the code word, "I'll have a pulled pork sandwich." I bet you will. I bet you will. And this isn't your first time at the old pulled pork sandwich. But anyway, I'm just, oh, wait a minute. I got to get out of there. There we go. By the way, thank you to the person who sent me this today. Oh, you can barely see that because I can barely see it. Let me try to open it up someplace else. What it says is that the top 50 news websites in the US, I repeat, the top 50 news websites in the US. Number 1, the New York Times, the old gray lady, the New York Times. Number 2, CNN, followed by Fox News, MSN.com, People Magazine, Finance, Yahoo. Really? Why? USA Today is number 7, Google 8, New York Post, God help us, is number 9, BBC, the BBC News website is number 10 in the United States, CNBC, Newsweek, oh God, that's another one that I do not like, Yahoo News, Substack. You know, I don't know anything about Substack. I got to get on this Substack and see what it's about. Number 15 is the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is down, let me see, year on year change. The Daily Mail has lost 40%. No, 42%. So yeah, it says at the top, year on year, it says YOY percentage change is 42%. And it is declining every month. Well, this past month on month, it has declined 8%. So the Daily Mail is, just imagine it going over a waterfall. You see there, August was a bad month for all news organizations, but Murdoch's tabloid New York Post is doing particularly badly with minus 22% last month. Only Jack Royston Newsweek is worse with minus 23%. The fail continues to slip in the U.S. another 8%, not 0.8, but 8% last month, with 42% last year. So year on year, they lost a whopping 42%. And you know what I have to say for that? Number one, it couldn't have happened to a better person. This is Lord Nappyhead, the racially ambiguous owner of the Daily Mail, or Daily Fail, if you will. So with this great news, I am going to say it is room for applause. Yes, they're circling the drain, ladies and gentlemen. They are circling the drain. That is why Daily Mail got so desperate with this whole paid subscriptions. You know, if they can just get $2 a month, it will help to balance the loss. There are too many news sources out there. I have felt the same pressure. The amount of views that Royal Sussex receives on an average video has gone down. I don't feel so bad about it because other Sussex-friendly spaces have come online. So if there's anything that I can be glad about, is that there are more Sussex-friendly spaces. I mean, almost 24 hours of spaces that I could go to. If I could just, watch them one after the other, I bet you I can go a whole 24 hours and not repeat one content creator. And that's a good thing. And these are the channels that we know. There are some channels that are that report other things besides Harry and Meghan, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I will take the loss of views if it means that there are more options available in the Sussex friendly universe, because inevitably that will benefit the Sussexes. Our words will help provide a level of security that money cannot buy. Money cannot pay for that. By maintaining the truth, by giving people options besides, listening to those. And also, it's not just the Daily Mail and these other crappy papers, but even the hate channels have taken a hit. They have taken a hit. So much so that they have been fighting amongst each other. You don't ever see Sussex friendly spaces going after each other. But for them, that is a matter of routine. This one is mad at this one. That one is mad at that one, and just on and on and on. So we're doing a good thing. We're in the right direction. This is an old thing that I've had for some time. Print circulation for January has a treat. The fail is under 800,000 for the first time in oh, now you see, that is in my way. The count on my screen is in my way. You guys don't have it on your screen, but I cannot see it. For the first time in something, it says there, 100 years, down from 812,000 to 797,000. The year on year is down 12%. Now, I think I've had this a couple of years. So they have been trending downward for a long, long time, which is an increase from the 5 to 8% we have had since 2018. Daily Mail Group owned Metro and is struggling too. Good, good. Let them all circle the drain. There's just too much information out there. There are so many more options. The world can get by just fine. Every time people try to Google something, if they have ever followed anything to do with the Sussexes, it's going to pop up on their phone. That algorithm is what's pulling people away from the tabloid media. The New York Post, there's a lot of people that read the New York Post every day, but fewer people are reading it. And let's face it, a lot of their, readers are dying off. Or they are seeking their news someplace else. But they don't need that trash from them. They can get their trash any place they want it. So, anyway, this is good news. This is good news. Let's see. Words do matter. Queen Elizabeth II wouldn't have had to take over motherly duties if she had reined Charles in. Just like if Charles had reined in Bulliam, Harry and Meghan wouldn't have lost their unborn child. I said what I said. Thank you for your comments. Words do matter. And that is an excellent point. That is an excellent point. You cannot underestimate the idea that Princess Diana might still be here if Charles wasn't able to flex so much authority within that institution. Charles was hanging on for 70 years as the was it almost 70 years? Or was it 70 years as the heir to the throne? 70 years he's the heir to the throne. And in that period of time, he was able to get very powerful within the institution. And before the Queen died, I swear Charles was like a regent in all but name only. Now, when Charles took over, I don't know the exact timetable, but at a certain point, the Queen's courtiers were told to pack it up, and they were replaced with people favorable to Charles, handpicked by Charles. And at that point, the Queen's words were just that, her words. She did not have much authority. So that's why anything, and I don't care whether it's about the Sussex or not, anything that they claim the Queen said, like recollections may vary, did she say that? Did she really say that? Just as Harry said, I don't know how many times I have signed on to a statement that I know nothing about. I found out I signed on to the statement just like everybody else. I read it in the paper. That's how I found out that I was a co-signator to some statement from myself and my brother. So there's a lot of that stuff that I think, I hope, I pray one day we'll find out what the Queen said and what was actually from Charles. I would really like to know that. And again, not just about Harry and Meghan, but about other things that have come up. I sadly, I don't think we ever will get the full story, but it would be nice to know. I'd be really interested to know that. Thank you again, Words Do Matter. Now, William, I don't know how much pull William has. And the reason why I say that is because everything for William is a statement, a leak, a brief from Kensington Palace, but it doesn't have any teeth. Buckingham Palace or Clarence House, they're not going to dispute it. They don't have to. But exactly what authority does William have? William is not in a powerful position like Charles was as Prince of Wales. He just simply is not. The big difference is Charles has traveled the world on behalf of the British government. William has rarely had anything to do outside of those borders for the British government. They don't ask him to go anywhere. They don't want him to do anything because he's likely to mess it up. Whereas Charles almost was like a, I would say the equivalent of the vice president. You had, look at how many times we had the Queen, we had the Prime Minister, and we had the Prince of Wales, all at the same function with other world leaders. The only country that had a sovereign, a head of state, the heir to the throne, and the prime minister who actually runs the country. That has happened quite a few times where all three of them were available, all at the same occasion. And then you fast forward to William as the Prince of Wales. He's not even speaking to his father. I looked at that thing. And by the way, you guys, we are going to talk about the funeral. We are going to talk about the funeral. So stick around for that. We got to talk about the funeral. I didn't see any exchange between Charles and William at the funeral. If someone did, please let me know. I did not see it. Now, I didn't watch the whole thing. I've been watching clips of it. I've looked at still photos. I cannot see an exchange between Charles and William. None. They did not seem to acknowledge each other as far as I can tell. Hazel, I know you know. It did not seem like they acknowledged each other. So what does that mean for the monarchy? Everything coming from William is bluster. There is no power to back it up. When William and Kate were having their thing in 2024, no, 2023. Wait a minute. Yeah, 2024. Where's Kate Middleton? And Kensington Palace seemed to really mess up things as far as their PR. You would have to have been under a rock somewhere to not notice that Buckingham Palace took over the PR for Kensington Palace. They had to, because William and all those beards over at Kensington Palace were really screwing up. They were screwing things up big time. So the palace had to take over. Now, how long that lasts, I don't know. But I do know at a certain point, they could not leave it to William and his flunkies. And they had to take over before the monarchy was in jeopardy. It was just that bad. It was just that bad. They had already come off of the book Endgame. And make no mistake, Endgame did a lot of damage to that institution. A lot of damage. It wasn't even as harsh as it could have been, but it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. It painted Kate as lazy. It painted William as uninterested. Charles and Kate were seen as racist. Camilla, of course, a savage. That book did not do them any favors. If anything, I believe it contributed to them going down to 48% popularity for the first time in history. They were underwater. And out of panic, sheer panic, what happens? By January 2024, not one, but two royals are in the hospital at the same time. Not one, but two royals announced they were having surgery within an hour. Not one, but two royals said they did not have cancer. Not one, but two royals, all of a sudden, guess what? One of them has cancer, the other one has precancerous cells, and nobody will say what kind of cancer they have. We're not allowed to know that. It was full disclosure up until the point when it was time to say what kind of cancer it was. That I'm not telling you. Very strange. Very, very strange. Okay, let me get this bird off the screen. Anyway, to the squatty that sent me that, thank you very much. That was the best thing since sliced bread. That made my day. This happened. Oh dear. Not such a great diplomatic start. Protesters managed to project images of those people and that other person onto the outside walls of Windsor Castle. Oh dear, said Chris Ship with a P, not a T. Chris Ship with a P, not a T, reported this earlier. They even have videos of this projection. Like I said, it just gets better. Connie Bowmer. See there? Just as I said, it just gets better. It did get better. Connie Bowmer is here. Muriel, thank you so much for the information you sent me. We're going to take a look at that soon. Also, there's this. Now, this is like one of those covers that they use when it rains at a baseball game, right? They cover the field with this huge tarp. Well, in this case, it is the world's largest permanent image of those two, those bosom buddies. They laid that out. As you can see, Windsor Castle is in the distance. How they managed to do this, I have no idea. But this is right in front of the gates at the Windsor Castle. The gates are like right there. Wow. Now that took some courage. Oh, let's do a comparison. Now, the couple at the top are the ones that are very sad. They don't have a way back. They're running out of money, even though Harry has just wrote some huge checks. They're running out of money. They don't have any friends. Everything is going wrong for them. Nobody likes them. They never get invited to red carpets. Not the Met Gala. None of that stuff. Oh, the life they lead out there in sunny California, living in one of the best zip codes in the country, Montecito, California, where there are no leaks in Montecito. Compare that to the other couple who has been given. They haven't had to earn it. They just sat back and waited for it. And what happened? The Duchy of Cornwall. Oh, they've never had it so good. The Duchy of Cornwall. Look at how healthy they look. See there? See that glow that they have? That glow that they have on the bottom picture. That's that glow you have when you have just been given $1 billion duchy, a salary of about $30 million a year for doing nothing. You don't even have to manage this huge portfolio. You have what they call an estate agent that will do everything. So you are running it in name only. You don't really do anything. You don't work. Gentlemen don't work. So, yeah, they've never had it so good. And because of that, they've never looked so good. I mean, look at Kate with that very gaunt, sunken in image that she has. And William looking all scruffy like he just pulled himself from under a cardboard box, took a shower, put on an ill-fitting suit, and showed up. Right? Oh, they're the new power couple. Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they beautiful? Yeah. Poor Harry and Meghan, they can't compete with that beautiful sun-kissed complexion that they have, right? Yeah, that healthy glow that they have is just a ruse. Yeah, we can't trust that. They're not so happy. Even though someone made a song about Meghan's hair, doesn't mean her hair is as perfect as we think it is. That was just a song. So Prince Andrew laughs as he shares a joke with ex-wife Sarah Ferguson when royals gather after the Duchess of Kent's funeral. But Prince William doesn't see the funny side. You guys, I don't know why the tabloids are trying to convince us that William was upset or uptight or just not feeling the fact that his uncle was standing next to him. I looked at the video. They laughed. They joked. William, of course, will be king. And as such, he's trying to keep his game face on. But that screenshot on the right, they tried to crop him out of it. But what you can see, look at his face. Does William look like he's unhappy or disturbed that his uncle Andrew, the sick old man, is standing behind him? No. Sarah Ferguson is also there, right? Andrew is behind Kate's big head. I'm telling you, in the video, it does not look like there was any unpleasant exchange. They say that William looked uptight, a bit uncomfortable to be there next to his uncle. That's all talk. That is all talk. Nothing of the sort. William was in the moment and enjoying a bit of a laugh with his uncle. God only knows what they were talking about, but it did not seem as though he was troubled by his uncle's presence at all. And I'm going to show you at least this little part that I have. Okay. And then you decide for yourself. But like I say, William did not look troubled at all. Okay. Okay, one more time. Let me do it again. Let me do it again. Look at there. He's nodding his head. Does that look like he is being in any way inconvenienced or tortured? And this is just a little small clip I was able to grab. There's no trouble between them. Now, to be fair, there is another video that's circulating where it looks like Kate has said to William that you're on camera with your uncle. And I will admit that it does seem a bit shady, but I don't believe that William was troubled by the fact that his uncle was near him and speaking to him. I don't believe that he was troubled by that. Yes, he may have had some concerns after Kate pointed out, and that is if she noticed, there's no audio. We can't know for certain what Kate said to him, but it seemed like he tried to shy away at a certain point. But again, that is for the cameras. It does not mean that William does not get along with his uncle. It doesn't mean that William has it in for his uncle. But I could imagine that he may not want to be filmed with him. So let me see if I can grab that one little clip and share it with you. Oh, as I thought, it's not going to be easy, but let me do this and see if I can grab it. Well, okay, so It looks like Kate says something in his ear. I'm going to show you in a minute. And it's almost like he's acknowledging. And maybe he said, "You think so?" And then he takes this awkward step to the right, and she steps to the right. But he's talking to someone. So I don't know. I'm going to let you see in just a minute. Yeah, let me try to grab this for you. I thought I had this one earlier, but I had the other one. So and then you can decide for yourself, was he trying to get away from his uncle? Okay, I got what I need. Let me do a quick edit on this. And I will show you what I mean. I'll show you what the fuss is about. Okay, there's that. Save video. Upload to PC. Okay, we're almost there. Gosh, this is good. I went to the Chinese supermarket and got snow pear juice. Snow pear juice. And it's really good. Oh, the video's ready. Okay, let's do this. And you can see for yourself. Be honest. I don't want to project anything on the situation. Be honest about what you see. Oh, wait, where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry about that. It's taking me a little longer than expected. It happened during. Okay, I'm going to have to turn the sound down on this one because there's some comment, but I have to turn it down. During the. There we go. So Kate is saying something. William acknowledges. He's looking down. She's looking down as though they're trying not to let the lip readers read their lips or whatever. And then this very awkward step over to the right. 1, 2. And Kate is as subtle as a heart attack. She steps over. But it seems like it may have been something about their waiting for their car or something. I don't know. What do you all think? That's Sarah Ferguson behind Andrew. You can see how she is with all of that frantic energy moving back and forth. You know what? As much as I love her, she would work my nerves. All of that bouncing around and stuff. I'd be like, would you sit the F down somewhere? God, look at how sharp those shoulder pads are. Why has this girl got those Joan Crawford shoulder pads? And why is the back of her hand facing forward? Why does she do that? Why is the back of her hands facing forward? That looks so strange to me. She never has her hands down to her side. She's always got them like in front of her. What a weirdo. Hazel says they're waiting for the cars and walked off to the car. Okay. Isn't she, though? Very skinny. Tara, I didn't realize that you sent me a super sticker. Thank you so much for that. I'm so sorry I missed that. Okay, sorry about that. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I think they're just waiting for the cars. I don't think William is like put off with that at all, but Kate does say something. William takes this awkward step to the right for whatever reason. I mean, but really, there's no place for him to go anyway. And if you do things according to rank, the next in line to the throne after William is not there. None of his 3 children are there. So who comes after that? Harry. Harry's not there. So who comes next? Lily and Archie. They're not there. So who comes next? Andrew, the sick old man. He's just standing in line according to rank. That's all. And the fact that his image is being beamed all over those walls of Windsor Castle, well, yes, Kate looks a bit run down, don't she? They all step to the right. Even Andrew and Fergie. Yeah, see, they all did. I was wondering about that, but I value everyone's opinion, so that's why I ask, because I didn't really see anything suspicious. But anyway, let's get back to it. So look at the cat that's ate the canary. Look at the cat that ate the canary. Somebody left the bird's cage open, and that big fat cat just jumped up there and ate the canary. Yep. Feathers all over, unexplained bird feathers everywhere. Yeah, probably. I only have like little bits and pieces. Why, was there something even more tantalizing? Later, Andrew could be seen laughing as William awkwardly stood next to him outside the Abbey. Now, that is the opinion of the tabloids. All of the tabloids are saying that William was uncomfortable, that it was awkward. I don't think so. They're saying that to try to give William some type of cover. The truth is, William is right at home with his uncle. Yes, Andrew, the sick old man. That's what that person said at the Queen's funeral. Andrew, you're a sick old man. Look at his face. Look at his face. Kate's dress is the black version of her red Korea dress. Oh, really? Thank you very much for that, Hazel Jones, and thank you for the super chat. You know what? I really do need to check my email. By the way, I almost forgot. I got I got my my box from my mailbox, and it has the most gorgeous cast iron pan inside. And sadly, I forgot. I'm very absent-minded, but I forgot who sent it. It didn't say so. I keep looking at the thing, but it didn't say so. But it is a gorgeous cast iron pan. Really, really nice. Yeah, I mean, it's like an anti-intruder pan. So whoever sent that to me, thank you very much. Cast iron is great for cooking, especially like hamburger or steak or anything. You got to season it first. But it is great because of the way the heat spreads out. It spreads out the heat. It doesn't concentrate the heat in one spot. Cast iron is, and also, yeah, the way it conducts the heat is brilliant for cooking any kind of meat or fish or whatever. So thank you, whoever sent that. I'm so sorry, I forgot. Okay, so yeah, cast iron is good for chicken. Yeah, just about any kind of protein you can cook. Cast iron, you cannot beat the conductivity of it. You simply cannot beat it. And I do have a gas stove, so oh, I got a whole bunch of emails. My goodness, when was the last time I checked? I'm sorry, everybody that sent me emails. I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you, Hazel Jones. You got the whole thing here. My goodness. Now, see, that would have been helpful earlier today. Ah, Antoinette, you sent me I got to check all these out. I'm so sorry. Oh, okay. Okay. I can't look at them now, but I'm going to make sure I check them out when I get done. Okay, let's keep this moving. Now, I zoomed in nice and close. That is the stuff of nightmares. Look at those shifty eyes. That is the stuff of nightmares. I just wanted you to see up close. I mean, I feel like I'm going to turn into a pillar of salt. I mean, look at him. Look at him. Look at how sinister he looks. That is frightful. I feel like something has just like a chill has come over me. I tell you what, I will not ask him to do any. I won't ask him to take the kids for ice cream or anything like that. I'm just not. I'm not. I don't. I couldn't. Even if I didn't know what I knew, I couldn't. Oh my God! Look at that, chilling yellow teeth, white hair. Ugh. And look at there. He's laughing and talking with Charles. And then, of course, at some point, he decided, oh, I guess I'll just stick my tongue out. Have nothing else to do. After all, he's a sick old man. Andrew was quite the hit at this gathering. From the parts that I have been able to see thus far, it does not seem as though Andrew has been rejected in any way whatsoever. He is part of the family. And of course, they always have the excuse that it's a funeral, right? He can come out for funerals. That is a safe space for him as a funeral. Unless that kid from Scotland runs into him, the one who called him Andrew, you're a sick old man. If he runs into that kid, I'm afraid that the gig is up. Andrew, you're a sick old man. At his own mama's funeral, this boy didn't yell, Andrew, you're a sick old man. And they arrested that kid. Okay, let me see. Saw a group of siblings motion to the ground, handcuffed, and as he was carted away, he yelled, "Disgusting!" Oh my God. After he got, wait, let me find the part where he yells, "You're a sick old man." There it is right there. Streets of Edinburgh yelled out as loud as he could, "Andrew, you're a That is the very famous location where we heard, "Andrew, you're a sick old man." So just to give you a little reference to the geography, the Queen was rolling down the street in her royal state hearse, and the kid on the side saw a group of siblings, an aging group of baby boomers, actually a couple of them pensioners at this point, walking toward him, and he was so overwhelmed with emotion that something welled up inside of him and said, "Andrew, you're a sick old man." And then he was plucked from the crowd, thrown to the ground, handcuffed, and as he was carted away, he yelled, "Disgusting!" Oh my God. Woo! Disgusting! I love that. That was like my best day since Christmas. Handcuffed, and as he was carted away, he yelled, "Disgusting!" Woo! Disgusting! I love that. That was like my best day since Christmas. When he yelled disgusting, I promise you, you could hear it as far away as Glasgow. Disgusting! And poor Andrew, the sick old man, was just trying to reform his image. After all, his mother had just died. Didn't matter. You're a sick old man, and that's all to it. I don't care who mama just died. You're a sick old man. And everybody from here to Glasgow is going to know about it because that kid told people in a very loud and clear, distinct voice, "Andrew, you're a sick old man." And okay, so yeah, that was the video I made at the time. Disgusting! Andrew, you're a sick old man. Oh man, he is just pitiful, isn't he? But he was quite lively. He was laughing and talking to everybody around him, even old stony faced Sophie Wessex. Even she had a little laugh with him. Everybody had their turn. Where Andrew, if he caught your eye, he's going to talk to you. Everybody. And oh my God, my heart breaks for the Duke of Kent. Look at him. Oh my God, my heart breaks for him. You know, even though Andrew has made this funeral about him. And of course, the tabloids have made this funeral about Harry and Meghan. Not so much this time, but there was the occasional mention of Harry, at least. We have to remember that the Duke of Kent and the Duchess of Kent have been married for a long, long time. And, you know, from everything I've heard about her, she was just a wonderful, wonderful person who was unfazed by her position, unfazed by all the pomp and circumstance. You know, she carried out her duties as necessary, but she also was an educator. She was teaching music. She never could make it to the big time as an artist herself, but like any wise person would do in her position, she decided, if I cannot make it to Carnegie Hall, then why don't I teach music and hope that I can help someone else make it there? And that takes a lot of strength and character to do something like that. But that's who she was. So I saw this picture and my heart just breaks for him. It really does. Poor guy. Yeah. But like I said, Andrew seemed to be very animated when they got outside. He knows how to play up the camera. And it didn't seem as though Will and Kate was so put off by the fact that they were pictured and recorded in his presence and he in theirs. But I tell you, there's something about Andrew that is kind of like a demonic spirit, because I have never seen someone who can change their appearance. This guy is a shapeshifter. He is. He's a shapeshifter. He has changed his appearance 10 or 12 times. He has changed his appearance 10 or 12 times right there on the steps of this church. I mean, he has gone from one look to the next, all in the same, 5 minutes or however long they stood out there. I mean, let's go back and take a look. Look at that. This guy is some kind of anomaly, a shapeshifter. I don't know how he does it, but he keeps changing his appearance. His hair is lighter, then it's darker, it's fuller, and then it's thinner. He's laughing, he's sneaky, sinister, and then next thing you know, he looks like he's trying to plot an overthrow. I mean, this guy is all over the place. Scary. And then there's Kate. Kate saw the opportunity to score some points. Notice how she studies him like a viper, like a what do they call that snake? A death adder. Look at her studying her prey. And then she goes in. Oh, actually, I got this backward. It's the kiss on each cheek and then the curtsy. Or was it the curtsy and then the kiss on each cheek? And notice that William is looking the other way. He cannot be bothered. He cannot be bothered. Isn't that something? And then this is the part that deserves examination. After the embrace, Did Kate just give her father-in-law the finger? Did she give him the one finger salute? Is that her middle finger kind of poking up like that? I kept looking at it. I said, well, let me zoom in. Maybe it's not what it looks like. The hell it's not. Is she giving her father-in-law, the king, I mean, notice she was looking so stoic, and then all of a sudden she just laughing and smiling, got that finger poked up there. Well, anyway, she better be glad that nobody saw her. Maybe that's maybe this is something she could do in public, but if she do it at home, somebody almost snatch it off her hand. If we see a bandage or a plaster on that finger next time, we'll know what happens. We'll know that somebody saw the same picture we just witnessed. Somebody who flies the helicopter and frequently has the latest issue of the Daily Mail tucked in the little pocket. And of course, it wouldn't be Kate if they didn't airbrush the photos. Kate's appearance, all of them, every single one is just a little bit different compared to the other, isn't it? I don't know who's been airbrushing and, but it looks like different people have been adjusting their photos or her photo. Perry Johnson, thank you so much for the new membership. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for supporting Royal Sussex. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. I really, really thank you for that. I mean, there's just no greater vote of confidence than when someone gets a new membership. For as low as the price of a cup of coffee once a month, you can support Royal Sussex. Well, I'm kind of hard on Kate, and deservedly so. But she is still a human being. She is the mother of 3, and it doesn't make me feel good to see her look so bad. However, I have to say that if there has been some things that are not going well for her, I still have to remember the way that Meghan was treated in that family. I have no doubt in my heart, none whatsoever, that Meghan reached out to her in friendship. Everybody knows how Meghan is when it comes to other women. Meghan only supports women. She doesn't tear women down. There's no place in her history of tearing another woman down. I really doubt that Kate would show up. That Meghan would show up at Kate's wedding wearing white. But we know that Kate arrived at Meghan's wedding wearing white. She decided to take a chance and wear her white Alexander McQueen coat dress with a hat that had just a pale hint of yellow. That was a provocation. The big stink before the wedding with the bridesmaids' dresses, another provocation. The issue of the tights. Again, she was going there. And according to Harry's book, when Meghan referred to her as having baby brain, how come I could never say that without laughing? But when Meghan referred to her as suffering from baby brain, which, was woman to woman, Meghan just said, maybe you're having a little hormone thing, because it was something that Kate couldn't remember. And baby brain means that you have a newborn, and, and that you're up all hours and such, and everything kind of revolves around feeding and such. So you overlook, you forget things. And there's a nickname for it, baby brain. Well, because it was Meghan, Will and Kate got all outraged. That's a very personal thing. We don't discuss such. They wanted Meghan to stand on ceremony as though she was a date visiting, as opposed to Harry's wife, as opposed to being the Duchess of Sussex. They wanted Meghan to conduct herself around them in a very formal way, a very unnecessary formal way. Meghan had spent a lot of time around Beatrice and Eugenie, and was not standing on ceremony. So, a princess is a princess. Why must I show deference to you? But that's what they expected. They wanted to try to put Meghan in her place. It wasn't that they really needed that, but they wanted it, because they wanted Meghan to know that she was never going to be as important as they are. And therefore, you must show me deference. But Harry gave Meghan instructions from the start. You do not curtsy to anyone but my grandmother and my father. That's it. You do not curtsy to anyone else in his family, meaning you do not curtsy to Camilla. That was Harry's instructions. But Kate and William felt otherwise. I believe they wanted Meghan to, to dance for them, to go into the deference mode, which is a lot to ask a girl from California who grew up with the idea that all men are created equal. That's a lot to ask for. It's one thing if you play along with, the sovereign and the heir to the throne. That's just being respectful. But a little flunky like Will and Kate, give me a break. So that led to even more bad blood. If you notice, none of the family paid her any attention except Ford Fiesta. I did not. Oh, Hazel Jones, I got to hurry up and watch that video. I got to hurry up and watch that video. I feel like I'm missing something. I'm going to watch it when I'm done. I got to see that. See, that's what I get. I'm thinking it's just enough to look at these little clips, but it seemed like there was so much more to it. Hey, Legs, thanks for joining us. Here's a couple more. As I said, there are not two photos alike. None of them. None of them are alike. Well, maybe. Okay, yeah, those two are definitely alike, but I don't know. I'm just. Does she look older than her age? Does she look consistent with her age? Or do you all think that there's something else going on? Because even before the surgery in 2023, Kate was already starting. Well, actually, we can go back further than that, because I recall when Joanne, what's her name? Andrea Mitchell from NBC asked her about Lilibeth, and they shut down that whole thing because they were afraid that the American press was going to ask Kate questions, so they just shut it down. Even at that occasion, Kate did not look well. There's a lot of makeup. There's a lot of skin treatments. That it takes a lot to get this look. And I'm not saying that to make fun of her, but I'm serious. It takes a lot for her to get this put together. There's something going on in that household. And what that is anybody's guess. But between William and Kate, I don't know if they have a toxic relationship. I don't know if they have much of a relationship. I believe in 2024, they have agreed to put on a performance for the sake of the public, for the sake of the monarchy. And they're doing a good job. I think they are convincing a lot of people that they are close. The pats on the butt, the glances at each other, it is all very well choreographed. So I believe they practiced and they got it down to a science. It is all choreographed. Every exchange between Will and Kate is attributed to the choreography. All of it. Play acting. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You're a cruel one, Mr. Grinch. You're angry, Mr. Grinch. Yeah, he looks like the Grinch that stole Christmas. You're a cruel one, Mr. Grinch. Oh my God. I know I should have warned you, right? I told you every photo he looks different. He can change his appearance very easily. See how he changes his appearance? You just don't know what he's going to look like next. I know, right? Frightening, isn't it? I told you. He has the ability to change his appearance. And of course, there's Sophie, and there's what's her name? What is her name? Sophie and Sarah Ferguson. Yeah, Sarah, Duchess Sarah. Now, this is the inside of the church. I told you for some reason that the church is very dark on the inside. I forget why it's like that. Why is the ceiling so dark in Westminster Cathedral? Okay, the ceiling in Westminster Cathedral, because the mosaic decoration is still incomplete, with only the lower part of the walls covered in mosaic and the vast upper ceiling sections remaining unfinished brickwork. The extensive detail mosaic covering the interior were intended to take over a century to complete, and they continue to be worked on to this day, creating a contrast between the decorative lower section and the darker, unadorned upper areas. Wow. That's it? But why does it look like it's just, covered with soot? I mean, that is, yeah, well, I mean, if that's the way it's supposed to be. But yeah, the church is incomplete. So to complete the mosaics, they say it will take a century, and they're still working on it. So what you see above that is the bare bricks. I visited that cathedral years ago, and I forgot the explanation, but I guess that's it. Okay, so there you have it. Yeah, but that's a lot. I mean, they burned candles at the Notre Dame. Well, the Notre Dame was very dark before they cleaned it up, but it was not this dark. And the Notre Dame is what, 900 years old, and it never got this dark. So this looks so much darker than Notre Dame. It really does. It should not be that dark. Anyway, it is very spooky when you look at it. I mean, you have that contrast between the lower portion and the upper portion. And this style of architecture is called Neo-Byzantine. Well, well, well. Yeah, so the church is like what, about 125 years old, 130 years old. I think it was finally finished in like 1901. And of course, there is Prince Michael of Kent and Princess Michael of Kent. She did not want to be known as a countess. She'd rather people call her a princess. So therefore, she uses her husband's name, Michael, Princess Michael of Kent. But her name is really Marie or Maria or something like that. And all of the years of grifting and scheming and conniving and wearing blackamoor brooches has broke them down. Both of them are kind of getting along kind of poorly. Yeah, both of them, they're getting along kind of poorly. But they're ornery and they're still here, especially her. Again, cheers to Catherine, Duchess of Kent, for a life of service without a bunch of fanfare, without any consideration of title and rank and such. She just got on with it. And she was beloved. And they said, of course, that the reason Camilla was not present is because she was Team Diana. She was always Team Diana. So the word on the curb is she did not really care much for that, what do you call it? That usurper, Camilla, the queen consort or the queen cohort. Look who else was at the funeral. That's right, Penny Natchbull. Penny Natchbull, pictured on the left, was at the funeral today. On the right side is an image of Penny Natchbull from Prince Philip's funeral. Now, it has been rumored that she and Prince Philip have had a long affair. They even alluded to it in The Crown. And even though it caused embarrassment for the Queen, Philip refused to give up. Whatever they were to each other, whether it was a father-daughter-like relationship, whether they were just friends, it was something about her that really appealed to Philip. And when he retired from official royal duty, he retired to Wood Farm, where they were living together. Philip had a fortune of about 30 million pounds. Where Philip got 30 million pounds, I have no idea. But Philip had 30 million pounds, and his last will and testament will be sealed for 90 years. And upon 90 years, they will decide whether or not to share that information with the public. So in 90 years, they may or may not tell people what's inside of that will. But no living person at the time of Philip's death is likely to be around that remembers Philip and will be waiting for them to open up that envelope. There may be a handful of people that are old enough to remember Prince Philip from their childhood when that question comes up. But Philip's 30 million pound fortune, we don't know. But the Queen, being ever pragmatic, told Penny Natchbull, they say it has been alleged, that she told Penny Natchbull that since people are talking, in order to put those tongues to rest, you ought to come to church with Philip and I. And she did. And as you can see, they're one big... As you can see, they are one big happy family. There's Philip looking guilty. There's the Queen looking pissed. And there is Penny Natchbull looking very, very grumpy. So even the most powerful woman on the planet, the most beloved woman on the planet, Queen Elizabeth, there's not too many countries that you could go to and say the Queen, and people wouldn't think you were talking about Elizabeth Regina. I mean, it was just obvious that that's the Queen. Everybody knew she was the Queen. What is my point? Very powerful figure in history. And yet, she could not keep her husband away from Wood Farm with Penny Natchbull. And whenever Philip had a chance to get over there to visit with Penny, he would race across that intersection. He didn't even look. He didn't even look left or right. He just went charging out there into that intersection. And one day he sideswiped this woman, T-boned her, broke her arm and everything, trying to get over there to his Penny Natchbull. Penny Natchbull and I don't care. Penny Natchbull and I don't care. Penny Natchbull and I don't care. Because Philip's on his way. I said Philip is on his way. Yes, Penny Natchbull, and I don't care. So, of course, upon the accident, it caused embarrassment. Everyone was afraid of Philip. And so they needed somebody who could speak to him and appeal to him and pretty much demand that he gives up his privileges. And so Philip agreed to give up his driver's license. The only person who could have that conversation is the one person in the United Kingdom who did not require a driver's license, and that's, of course, Queen Elizabeth. And now, of course, Charles III has no need for a driver's license or a passport. He is the driver's license. He is the passport. So, yeah, this is like one of my favorite photos. I mean, you can see why, right? You can see why. It just says everything. You know what I'm saying? It just speaks. It speaks to you. Now, they had nicknamed him the Duke of Hazzard. Yes, they had nicknamed him the Duke of Hazzard. For some reason, he reminds people of the Dukes of Hazzard because when Philip got to that intersection, he didn't just T-bone that car. His car was jettisoned into the air. I mean, he was literally airborne when he went slamming into that poor woman's car and broke her arm. You hear me? He was airborne when he slammed into that car and broke that poor woman's arm. You should have saw her on TV. She was looking so pitiful. And she said no one from the palace, especially Philip, apologized to her. They did not acknowledge her or apologize to her or nothing. It took a long time after she had went on television and everything and told people, hey, Philip broke my arm. That's right, Prince Philip broke my arm. It was only after that that they acknowledged that this poor woman had been injured. But other than that, there was no acknowledgement whatsoever. But he did. He broke her arm. She had to take time off from work and everything. She said he didn't even stop. He didn't look left or right. He just went barreling into the intersection. And the only thing that stopped him was her car and her arm. I wonder if she had put her arm out and said, wait. And that's how I got broke. You think so? Yeah, maybe that's what happened. Maybe she put that arm out trying to, wave at him to let him know not to enter the intersection. And next thing you know, there she was sitting up in surgery with a broken arm. Yep, the Duke of Hazzard. Oh, well. Look, Philip had to get over there to his Penny Natchbull, okay? Penny Natchbull was quite fetching in her youth. And of course, there's a very tender moment where Philip and Penny Natchbull was obviously looking at his stamp collection, or maybe she was like making a little sandwich for their picnic or something. But or maybe he purchased a new gear shift or something. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to teach her how to drive a stick. You think so? I think he was trying to teach her how to drive a stick. And of course, It was just at the most inopportune moment. That's all. Yeah, it was just at a very inopportune moment. That's it. Prince Philip broke that woman's arm trying to get the penny natch bull. Penny natch bull, and I don't care. I feel so sorry for that woman, though. I mean, but you know, when Philip passed, I'm pretty sure that only after he passed did she have the courage. Only after he passed did she have the courage to drive down that road again. You know what I mean? But other than that, she probably hadn't been on that road in years. But I shouldn't laugh because she was crying. She was crying when she described how Prince Philip nearly killed her. And get this, he wasn't even wearing a seatbelt. There she is right there. That poor woman said that Philip just went barreling into that intersection. Now, the official word from Philip was that the sun had caught his eye, right? That when he entered the intersection, there was the glare of the sun. And yes, he was over 90 years old crossing that busy intersection, but I'm sure that had nothing to do with it. But whatever it was, that poor woman's arm was broken. And so she became a bit of a celebrity for a minute there. As long as she had that cast on, she was like a little celebrity. She was invited all kind of places. This morning with Philip and Holly. See there? She's just so pitiful, ain't she? That poor, pitiful creature. It's actually a road that crosses the Windsor estate. You cross the road from the Great Windsor Park, I think, to Wood Farm or something like that. So it's a road that only the locals would use, people that live on the estate or whatever. But I don't recall where it was, but I do not believe that this poor woman was expected to stop. But Philip needed to stop. And he didn't because he was trying to get the penny natch bull. Her name is Emma Fairweather. It would be Fairweather, wouldn't it? She was 46 years old at the time, was with, let me see, Emma Fairweather was with a woman and a baby when the car when the car crash took place. Let me see, Kia, they were traveling in, collided with a vehicle driven by the Duke on January the 17th. Oh my goodness. Let me see. I got all these ads popping up. Okay. On January the 17th. And that was 2019. Prosecutors said today decision not to prosecute the Duke was based on his age. But reacting to the news, Miss Fairweather said the whole thing feels managed. The woman who broke her wrist in the car crash involved involving Prince Philip has criticized the decision to not prosecute the 97-year-old. Emma Fairweather, 46, was another woman in the car with a 9-month-old baby. The Kia they were in was traveling and collided with the Land Rover Freelander being driven by the Duke. The force of the crash near Sandringham rolled the 4x4 onto its side, while the Kia was also badly damaged following the crash. Yeah, so Philip was upside down. They had to pull him out of the car. They had to, and I'm sure he was cussing. Ooh, I bet you the language that he was using. Oh, I got to show this to you. Okay, so it was a Sandringham estate. All right. I didn't realize that. Oh, that's pretty bad, isn't it? They had to pull Philip out of the car. Oh, this gets better. Let me show you the picture of the intersection. Yep, where Philip was riding along and singing Penny Natch Bull and I Don't Care and caused the accident. There you go. The Kia was coming from that direction. Philip was barreling out of the intersection at that part right there. Oh my goodness, Philip crossed the intersection and ended up on the other side of the road, almost in the ditch. Wow. But seriously though, folks, I cannot believe this woman wanted to prosecute Prince Philip. You have to give her credit for her fearless personality. She was literally trying to prosecute the Duke of Hazzard. And look at Philip throwing up deuces. As soon as he got out of that Land Rover, he went and got into his Dukes of Hazzard General Lee and went on over to Penny Natchbull. At least it's orange so everybody could see it. Yeah, it's a private road. It's a private road. It's no stoplights or anything. And that's why I said there was no expectation for her to stop. Philip was supposed to yield to the traffic, but that is like a private road that only the people on the Kensington estate would use. And then, as you can see, you cross over that part to the other side there, and it continues. You can see the cars. See, they're like a red car and a silver car. So there is a crossing there, but again, it's only for people that live on the estate. I don't think it's like a road that anybody else would use. But it does create an intersection, but it's just no stoplights or stop signs for people on the main road. Why do I look at that picture and I go, So the Duke of Edinburgh will is to remain secret for at least 90 years to protect the dignity and standing of the Queen. The High Court has ruled. It has been convention for over a century that after the death of a senior member of the royal family, the court has to ask to seal their will. It means that unlike most wills granted probate, it will not be open to the public inspection. There will be a private process in 90 years to decide if it can be unsealed. So the will is in a safe at a lawyer's office somewhere, and that's where it's going to remain. None of us will ever know what's in that will. Rory, what happened? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but thank you for sharing that with us. And do know your Sussex Squad family is with you. So I guess that's Penny Natchbull's daughter. Now, if I recall, Penny Natchbull's daughter, no, Penny lost a daughter, right? Didn't she have a daughter that passed away? And Philip was there to comfort her. I think that's how their relationship, their companionship, I think that's how it evolved. Yeah, I think that's how it evolved. Camilla, no show. Well, it's known in royal circles the Duchess of Kent had no time for her and was a huge friend and supporter of Diana. That is a beautiful portrait, isn't it? That is a beautiful portrait. I must say she remained quite attractive throughout her life. She really did. Not that that's the most important thing, but I think the Duchess of Kent was absolutely beautiful. Very beautiful. Inside and out. And then there's this old hag. Look at her. I mean, she gives new meaning to the term old broad. That's an old broad right there. Old whiskey drinking, cigar smoking, old broad. Yep. Camilla, the queen cohort. Quite ornery she is. When they went to Kenya, she refused to get out the car. She couldn't be bothered. I mean, that was more black people than she'd been around for a long time. So she was just like, you know what? I'm going to wait in the car. Absolutely, Rory. Absolutely. Your Sussex Squad family is here for you. But the big question is, will Camilla suddenly recover from her sinus infection or sinusitis or whatever they said? Will she recover in time to meet with Donald Trump? Will she recover in time to meet the president? Good question. Now, the only thing that I could think of that is causing her to suddenly take ill is the fact that her stepdaughter-in-law is going to have a major role in the visit with the president of the United States, the state visit. So Muriel cleverly has found these to share. When the old mare is not ill, she suddenly remembers that she already had something else planned, her excuse for skipping Eugenie's wedding. Take a look there. Camilla Parker Bowles is skipping Princess Eugenie's wedding. Camilla Parker Bowles' health condition Duchess cancels engagement with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. That was in November 2019. And take a look there on the left. Queen Camilla extended illness explained as royal cancels major appearance. Kate Middleton, Prince William, King Charles were all in attendance to welcome the Emir of Qatar, at Buckingham Palace Tuesday. Now that was December of 2024. I do believe that she was not able to attend that, but Kate did. But the state dinner, I believe she was in attendance for that, and Kate was not. Remember that long period where Kate was not allowed to wear a tiara. Anything that dealt with a tiara, and it seemed like Kate was not invited. And then take a look here on the right. Get well soon. Queen Camilla pulls out of Duchess of Kent's funeral due to illness with royal family to gather to say goodbye. So you see, it seems to be a matter of what suits her. That is how she decides whether or not she's going to attend, allegedly. It seems like she just makes up a condition. If there were reports that the horse ambulance was in the area, as you know, Clarence House is just footsteps away from Buckingham Palace. So I repeat, there was reports that people saw the horse ambulance circling the area. They probably couldn't figure out where Clarence House was, but so to be fair to Camilla, the Queen consort, the idea that the horse doctors were riding around the area, that means that perhaps she was not feeling well. Yeah. That it could have been, she could have had a problem. Maybe she wasn't feeling well. I mean, it's not every day you see the horse doctors going around looking for their patients. So I don't know if y'all, we might have to assume that she was not well. Or maybe she went and got her nails done. Huh? Maybe she just didn't go to the funeral because she had just got her nails done. What do you think? Look how pretty that is. She got that nice purple metallic. Yeah, maybe she just got her nails done, and for that reason, she just could not, she couldn't go to the service because she didn't want to mess up her nails. Yeah, it could have been. Being the Queen consort, maybe it's hard to get an appointment, because of course, when she's getting her nails done, she wants to go to the best possible salon. And so for that reason, she just had to yeah, that's what it was. Someone canceled an appointment and she took it. See there? Now, Kate snubbed again. I do believe that this was, let me see, the King and Queen gave a luncheon party for the companion of the most noble order of the Garter, at which the Prince of Wales and the Duke of York, the Duke of and Duchess of Edinburgh, the Princess Royale, Vice Admiral Timothy Lawrence, the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, the Duke of Kent were present. Everybody was there but Kate. And Hazel Jones, didn't you say that it seemed like everybody was ignoring Kate? at the church yesterday. So yeah, maybe there is something going on. Maybe there is. So at the time, SK said again at the luncheon where every working royal was invited, they only needed her to show face at the church service for propaganda photos and then sent her back to where she kept. Surprisingly, Andrew was in attendance at this luncheon. The fallout between the two houses is as clear as day, especially Kate and Camilla. They have been at war for a long time. The press is just not talking about it. The press will not talk about it, but those two households have been at each other for a while. Now, that brings me to Amanda Platell. I'm so disgusted with myself for the cruel things I said about Kate. I'm choking on my words now. I know the truth. I'm just so sorry. So Zandy Sussex says, surely Amanda Platell's apology is taking the piss. I can only imagine how many hours are required to plan her outfits for the coming days. How many trips that is, did her hairdresser have to make to finesse a hairdo upon which upon which to perch a priceless Windsor tiara. So Amanda Platell has a history of apologizing for Kate Middleton or to Kate Middleton. I thought it was just this one, but there was another notable apology for pretty much the same thing. And you know what that thing is? Telling the truth. It was for telling the truth. See there? Kate, I'm sorry for getting you so wrong. Look at the date. That is December 2011. That is from December 2011. Again, Muriel found this and I'm sorry, I went past it. Oh, wait. Did I pass it? Yeah, anyway, Muriel found this one. In 2011, she wrote this after being taken aside by Prince William's people for a quiet word, and they told her she was not being fair to that lazy woman. I could believe that. I can believe that. I believe it happened just as stated, that they took her to the side and said, you know what? You're not being fair. One of these days, she's going to be queen. But I guess Amanda Platell forgot that she had been put in her place. Shortly before Kate Middleton became the Duchess of Cambridge at the royal wedding in April, I was taken aside by Prince William's people for a quiet word and told I was not being fair to her. Now, this is Amanda Platell's words. This is what she said in that article. It's true that I had been critical of her for a number of articles I had written. I had pointed out that Weighty Katie was doing nothing but waiting around for her prince to propose. I had called her lazy and said by the time Diana was Weighty's age, she had headed an infant death charity and changed the world's attitude toward HIV/AIDS sufferers. Isn't that something? At this time in Diana's life, she had already headed an infant charity, an infant death charity, and also changed the world's attitude toward HIV. And Kate Middleton had done nothing. Kate's only job was waiting for William to propose. And Amanda Platell pointed that out at the time because it was the truth. Kate had done nothing with her life except sat around waiting to be asked. Again, thank you, Muriel, for finding this article. What on earth does she do all day? I wrote of William's idle girlfriend. In their chat to me, the prince's people insisted I completely misunderstood her. Catherine, as they had decreed she should be called, was in fact an example to us all, a role model, utterly devoted to William. She was intensely mindful of her position as the future king's betrothed, and diligently but quietly preparing for her role as his wife. I sputtered into my Chablis. What? The girl who had never held down a proper job by the age of 29, except her parents' at-home online party pieces company? The woman more famous for her frocks than anything she said or done? A role model for young women? You must be joking, I said. Well, now it looks like the joke was on me. Yes, I think I may have misjudged Kate Elizabeth Middleton. Whether clad in her high street L.K. Bennett boots or her Jimmy Choos, Kate has not put a foot wrong since her engagement to William was announced. The palace constantly informs us that the mistake made with Diana will not be repeated. And watch Kate this week visiting one of William's late mother's favorite causes, the Centerpoint Homeless Charity. I actually began to believe them. Now you see there, she's being really shady in this article. She's being very shady. She's acknowledging that she got it wrong, which I don't believe she believes that, but she's also reminding people why she wrote the article in the first place. Because by age 29, Kate had proven herself to be nothing else but self-centered and lazy. That by age 29, she had not done much of anything. Even Queen Elizabeth pointed out that Kate needed to get a job. If you want people to take you serious, you need to do something with yourself. Kate wasn't doing anything. And that's the reason why she was so roundly criticized, and rightly so. And what offends me, though, is that you have so many people trying to convince the world that Meghan's history is overblown or non-existent. And I could tell you for certain, Meghan wasn't doing any of those things because she thought she was going to marry a prince someday. She did those things because that is her character. That is her calling in life, a calling to service. For Kate Middleton, it's just something that comes with the role. It's nothing that she really cares about at all. So Feminagra has an article. Amanda Platell stunned readers when she published a groveling apology to Kate Middleton. Only days earlier, she mocked William and Kate as the prince and princess of boring and praised Prince Harry's energy during his 4-day UK visit. In her follow-up piece, Platell claimed she was choking on her words and presented Kate as the crown's shining jewel. The sudden shift didn't go unnoticed. Platell's description of Kate's supposed workload, hours of planning outfits and trips to the hairdresser to finesse a tiara, read more like satire than journalism. Platell's sudden U-turn reads less like heartfelt remorse and more like palace enforced damage control. To us, this was not an apology. It was royal bootlicking dressed up as regret. The kind of capitulation that happens only after an incident. An incandescent, an incandescent phone call from Kensington Palace. Okay, I get that. Platell has apologized to Kate before. It was not the first time. Platell reversed herself in 2011. She admitted William's staff confronted her after she repeatedly called Kate Waity Katie and William's idle girlfriend. Platell then published a lengthy mea culpa declaring she had misjudged Kate and now saw her as a role model. The cycle has repeated in 2025. Criticism of Kate triggered backlash, followed by a cloying apology that reframed the princess as indispensable. The pattern suggests less a change of heart and more a journalist falling in line with palace expectations. Liz Jones and others in the royal press pack have played similar roles, alternately kneeling and then defending the Welleses. The palace press pack in plain sight. Platell's apology highlights the unspoken pact between the palace and the tabloid. Journalists can attack Meghan Sussex and Prince Harry without fear, yet criticism of William and Kate bring consequences. Platell told the truth once, describing the Welleses as dull and absent. Days later, she walked it back in spectacular fashion. The episode illustrates the imbalance of royal coverage. The Welleses receive protection while Meghan endures endless negative stories. When columnists stray, they are nudged back into line. The result is not honest reporting, but narrative management designed to shield the future king and queen. The bigger picture, Platell's grovel is not about one columnist's credibility. She squandered that long ago. It reflects a press culture that bends to royal power rather than scrutinizing it. The British public is left with stories that flatter instead of inform. The dysfunction, laziness, and contradictions within the monarchy remain unexamined. Amanda Platell did not fall on her sword for Kate. She bent the knee to the palace machine, proving once again that in Britain, the crown still dictates the headlines. Well, there you go. That's what happened. That is exactly what happened. She had to fall in line or face the scrutiny. Amanda Platell, no tears or tantrums here. Waity Katie Middleton has become the royals' crown's jewel after a whatever it said. But then look at that. Stay away from Britain, Meghan. You're not welcome here. Isn't that a contrast? Kate is a jewel. Meghan, stay away. How about this one? Prince William needs to man up. His new obsession suggests he has forgotten everything the late Queen stood for. This is why I fear for the future. Again, she's being honest, because buying that house or leasing that house at that particular time was a huge mistake, but he did it anyway. And what happens? Eventually, the press covered for him. First, they criticized him, and then they gave him cover. By the way, that is Amanda Platell. Platell's people, I can't forgive Camilla for the way she treated Princess Di as she basked in the glow of her rehabilitation years later. That's August of 2017. Update: Amanda Platell, as a betrayed wife, I was on Team Diana. So why have I finally forgiven Camilla? That is February 2022. So from 2017 to 2022, she had a change of heart. Now all of a sudden, she's Team Camilla. At first, she couldn't forgive Camilla. And now, why have she forgiven Camilla? This is nothing more than gaslighting or I guess, what is it? Brainwashing? Either way, no matter how you want to call it, that very language, so why have I forgiven her? It's an invitation to the rest of the public to forgive Camilla. And this is the kind of stuff that they were writing all the way up to the coronation. They had been instructed, all of the journalists had been instructed to make the case for Camilla to be queen. I promise you, everything that they wrote was building a case. Oh, theirs is a love affair of the ages, so on and so forth. Now, here's an interesting story. Let me see. I think I'm almost done. Yeah, I'm almost done. But this is interesting. Postcard sent from the United Nations is returned to sender after 72 years. 72 years. Alan Ball sent the postcard to his family during the summer of 1953. Last week, it arrived at his home in Idaho. By the way, he's still alive. He doesn't remember sending it. I mean, actually, he doesn't remember much about that day because his memory has faded over the years. But yeah, like so many people, he sent a postcard and it never made it. Now, where was the postcard all those years? Let me find it here. That was a New York Times article. So in 1953, during his first trip away from his Illinois home, Alan Ball sent his family a postcard from the United Nations headquarters in New York. The postage for which was 2 cents. Mr. Ball, who was in high school at the time, bought the postcard on his way to Puerto Rico, where he planned to spend the summer at his aunt's home. He had taken the train to New York to visited the United Nations in his spare time before his flight to Puerto Rico, where we are now in the United Nations building, extremely modern throughout. He wrote in a neat cursive on the postcard, which displays one of the UN headquarters buildings on the front. He promised to write next from Puerto Rico and signed it, "Love to all, Alan." But the postcard never arrived at his family home in Ottawa, Illinois. Mr. Ball, who is now 88 years old, had totally forgotten about it until Wednesday when a letter carrier handed it to him in Sandpoint, Idaho, where he has lived for more than 30 years. The 2 cents did a lot of work, he said. A retired emergency room doctor during a phone interview on Saturday. It has mostly brought a chuckle to me because, who gets their mail returned after 72 years? The postcard, an update from Mr. Ball on his travels, provided the kind of a quick message one might send in a text or social media post today. In addition to describing the modernity of the United Nations building, the dispatch detailed how Mr. Ball had yet to buy a ticket for his flight. We'll see about it pretty soon, he wrote. It also mentioned a telegram Mr. Ball had received from his family on the train, to which he replied, "Think all will be okay." It was addressed to the Reverend F.E. Ball, Mr. Ball's father, and his family, and dated June 17th, 1953, complete with a United Nations branded stamp. It faded front shows the towering United Nations Secretariat building against the blue sky. Let me see. So Mr. Ball doesn't remember much about his trip to the United Nations or time in New York, but when he saw a photo of a faded message, he immediately recognized the handwriting as his own. He never knew the postcard wasn't delivered and never thought to mention it to his family. There wasn't anything important in it, he said. It just said, "Here I am," and kind of just hanging out. So, let me see. Oh, they said last month the postcard abruptly surfaced at the Ottawa post office in Illinois. The postal officials said they believed it had spent most of the past 7 decades lost in the United Nations and had only been mailed recently. So that's where the postcard was. For 70 years, that postcard had been sitting at the United Nations. That is crazy. The town's postmaster enlisted help from several genealogists to match the postcard to Mr. Ball, more than 1,700 miles away. They did some sleuthing and found out I was here in North Idaho. The next thing I knew, I was getting a call from a reporter back there, Mr. Ball said. Since then, he has become somewhat of a local celebrity in Sandpoint, a city of more than 10,000 people, about 70 miles northeast of Spokane, Washington. Huh. Wow, he remembers the constant drone of the propeller plane that flew him there. He went to Puerto Rico on a plane with propellers. Well, it was 1953. Oh, well, that was interesting. Here's a couple of well, actually, the photo on the left, actually, I think I've seen both of these. As a proud partner of Superhumans, we've privileged to meet Prince Harry. Yeah, I did that yesterday. Okay. Oh, BFBS Forces News. This is a military news thing. They wished Harry a happy birthday, and they shared a few pictures of Harry to wish him happy birthday. And with that, you guys, I'm done. Done. I had no idea that was going to take nearly 3 hours. I had no idea that was going to take nearly 3 hours. How did that take so long? Jeez Louise. I didn't even think I had that much material. But it is what it is. Thank you very much. I cannot believe there's still 750 people here. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. Again, our condolences to Rory for her loss. I'm sorry I'm making noise, but I was wondering why my arm is itching. I think a mosquito bit me today. And of course, nope, that's not it. I'm looking for some hydrocortisone to put on it. I usually keep it handy. No, that's not it. Oh, there it is. There it is. I always keep some hydrocortisone handy. Oh, Sussex Team Warrior, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lydia Washington. Oh, thank you, Sonia Johnson. I cannot believe it's been almost 3 hours. Where did the time go? Wow. You're welcome, TMCD. Oh, I got to share a picture of my new cast iron pan for you guys. I'll do that tomorrow. Okay, good night, all. Thank you, Cookies and Cream. Good night, all. Good night, Connie Balmer. Good night, Terry H. Thank you, Maurice Brown. Good night, Felton. When he yelled disgusting, I promise you, you could hear disgusting! Thrown to the ground, handcuffed, and as he was carted away, he yelled, disgusting! That never gets old. Never. Never gets old. Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Isn't that the song to the Dukes of Hazzard? He's just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. He went through the intersection, broke that poor girl's arm. Put the pedal to the metal. Yes, put the pedal to the metal. Well, in this fantasy, I'm trying to figure out who's going to wear the Daisy Dukes. Who would be the one to wear the Daisy Dukes? If Prince Philip is the Duke of Hazzard, who's going to be Daisy Duke? I vote Edward. Yes, Edwina will be the one to wear the Daisy Dukes. Good night, legs. Ottawa, Illinois. Yes, that is a town in Illinois, Ottawa. It is the capital of Canada, right? What does Ottawa mean? The name Ottawa was chosen in 1855 in reference to the Ottawa River, whose name itself derived from the Algonquin, meaning betrayed. In modern Algonquin, the city is known as Ottawa. Okay. So Ottawa is a native word. The capital city of Canada. It is located in the southern portion of the province of Ontario, at the confluence of the Ottawa River and the Rideau River. Is it Rideau? Rideau? Not to be confused with Ottawa, Illinois, of course. One of my big regrets in life is that I've never spent any time up in Canada. I went to Ontario one time and did not really see much, but I'd like to spend a couple weeks in Canada. Good night, everyone. Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just sitting up here looking at some stuff. Wow, 70 years it took to deliver that postcard. That is, it probably was stuck in some machinery or something, or wedged between a wall, who knows. What's that? Oh, yeah, the Trenchtown Man. I wonder if he's going to make an appearance at the state dinner. Wouldn't that be fun? if at the state dinner, a very familiar voice calls out to William, "Hey, Prince, Trenchtown needs $335 million. $335.
Yes, Prince. Trenchtown wants $245 billion. That's what Trenchtown wants. $345 billion. Yes, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what Trenchtown wants. Yes. What do you mean?
You hear that coffee in that voice? Could you hear all that coffee in that voice? Hey, Prince, Trenchtown needs $335 trillion. You hear all that coffee in that voice. Oh, it's been 3 hours. God, I can't believe how fast this went by. Okay, love you guys. See you next time.